Love can sometimes feel like a confusing maze of emotions, where the desire for closeness clashes with the fear of being hurt. If you often find yourself trapped in tumultuous relationships, where love and hate intertwine endlessly, you might be caught in the Anxious-Avoidant Trap. This is where you're stuck in a push and pull dynamic, with constant back and forth and no real resolution. Initially, it might seem like the exciting attraction of opposites, but it's actually a harmony of insecurity between people who share a deep-rooted fear of commitment. In this video, join me as we explore the psychological intricacies behind the Anxious-Avoidant Trap. We'll analyze why these two personality types attract and hurt each other, and delve into how activating and deactivating strategies play out in their relationship. More importantly, you'll learn to recognize the signs to assess whether your current relationship can be salvaged, and equip yourself with helpful communication tips to break free from this trap. It's time to bravely step out of the cycle of hurt and move towards genuine connection. Number 1. The Anxious-Avoidant Trap. A vicious cycle of emotions in relationships. The Anxious-Avoidant Trap is a paradox of love, a whirlwind where intimacy and distance constantly alternate, trapping us in an unhealthy relationship. At first glance, it's easy to mistake this for the exciting allure of opposites attracting, but in reality, it's a harmony of insecurity, where two souls carrying wounds of attachment find each other and unwittingly create a challenging love war. In this trap, we find ourselves constantly torn between conflicting thoughts. On one hand, we are aware that this relationship is not healthy, even causing much pain. I know I deserve better, but I can't leave them. Maybe this is the best I can get. If I just love them enough, they will change. These self-deceptions become invisible chains, binding us to someone who doesn't respect us, who readily takes advantage of our generosity, or who is unpredictable with their hot and cold behavior. They may avoid commitment, be ambiguous about the relationship, or even act secretive, keeping us in a constant state of anxiety and suspicion. On the other hand, we may also be the ones who reject closeness, feeling suffocated by the other person's excessive care, always seeking a way out of the relationship. They are too serious, it makes me feel suffocated, I'm not suited for commitment, are the thoughts that constantly occupy our minds. As a result, we often get involved with people who tend to be controlling, disrespectful of personal boundaries, or easily hurt by our unintentional actions. In either case, the anxious-avoidant trap makes us addicted to the feeling of love, like a hunger, constantly craving validation from our partner. This craving stems from childhood wounds, from unmet needs that are now awakened in romantic relationships. Ironically, stable, kind, and predictable individuals are often pushed aside because they are too boring. Both the anxious and the avoidant are attracted to challenges, to uncertainty, believing that love must be conquered, fought for, to be truly valuable. Ultimately, the relationship becomes a game of emotional power, where both sides constantly push and pull each other in a vicious cycle of love and hate. This kind of emotional economy not only drains the mind, but also leaves both feeling inadequate, never truly satisfied or fulfilled in the relationship. Descriptions of the Number 2. Why do the anxious and avoidant attract each other? The vicious cycle of anxiety, avoidance, attraction in love is a paradoxical yet fascinating phenomenon, where seemingly opposite souls find harmony in their shared insecurities. Initially, the anxious person, with their open heart full of affection, is often drawn to the independent, decisive demeanor and irresistible charm of the avoidant person, the rolling stone. Conversely, the avoidant person is touched by the sensitivity, passion, and sincerity of the anxious one. They complement each other, creating a perfect balance reminiscent of the yin-yang symbol. However, beneath this initial attraction lies a subtle trap. Both parties unconsciously seek partners who reinforce their deep-seated beliefs about love and relationships, a psychological phenomenon known as the confirmation bias. The anxious individual gravitates toward the avoidant because their emotional distance triggers the subconscious fear of abandonment. Similarly, the avoidant person is drawn to the anxious partner to validate their suppressed feelings and reinforce their belief that love always entails suffocating obligations. In truth, this is not a case of opposites attract, but rather wounds recognizing each other. Anxious individuals often find themselves stuck with partners who cannot meet their true needs, leading them to simultaneously cling to and fear letting go. This fear stems from their reluctance to accept genuine love, as it would mean relinquishing control and facing the possibility of rejection if they are not good enough. Although they crave love, the anxious also exhibit avoidant tendencies on a subconscious level. They fear that if they attain what they desire, they will lose themselves, become dependent, or ultimately hurt the person they love. The avoidant individual is not exempt from this dynamic. They struggle to embrace love or closeness because it awakens the anxiety they have long suppressed. Intimacy threatens the sense of independence they have painstakingly cultivated and triggers issues of self-worth. They believe they are not good enough, unworthy of love, and incapable of meeting their partner's needs. Phrases like, "they deserve someone better," or "we should end things while the memories are still good," are justifications they use to withdraw. In summary, the anxiety avoidance trap is not merely a phenomenon of opposites but a value confirmation trap, where both parties unconsciously perpetuate familiar relational patterns to feel secure. The push and pull behaviors are not signs of healthy love, but indicators of emotional addiction, where the anxious and avoidant are trapped in a cycle of repetitive dynamics. This makes such relationships difficult to escape and prone to becoming prolonged spirals of mutual hurt. Number 3. The root of anxiety in avoidant individuals. The anxiety hidden within avoidant individuals often stems from two core experiences: emotional dismissal or confusion in processing emotions. For those with a dismissive avoidant attachment style, often likened to lone warriors, they learn to suppress and detach from their emotions early on, building a strong and unpredictable outer shell. This suppression makes it difficult for them to identify their true feelings and often leads them to attribute internal conflicts to external factors like circumstances, health issues, or even the faults of others. Conversely, individuals with a fearful avoidant attachment style like dormant volcanoes are acutely aware of their emotions but completely bewildered in handling them. They often oscillate between two extremes, erupting with intense, uncontrollable emotions and then retreating and withdrawing into their own world, creating an invisible distance from those around them. These behaviors are usually the consequence of past traumas, or receiving mixed signals about expressing and processing emotions during their upbringing. In relationships, these painful experiences awaken the wounded inner child of the avoidant individual. They are unconsciously drawn to familiar relationships from the past, even if those relationships cause pain. According to expert Harville Hendricks, this intense attraction results from encountering an imago partner, someone who instinctively recreates the tragic relationships of our past. Instead of healing and overcoming, we inadvertently perpetuate old patterns, repeating unhealthy attachment styles, causing anxiety and avoidance to become deeply ingrained in our subconscious. If this situation is not recognized and controlled, it becomes toxic, as each person continues to use unconscious strategies to activate or deactivate the other's emotions, leaving both lost in a cycle of hurt. Number 4. Can anxious-avoidant relationships thrive? Despite the challenges, a relationship between an anxious and an avoidant individual can flourish if both partners commit to cultivating understanding and prioritizing each other's needs as much as their own. This journey requires patience, effort, and especially the practice of 3 crucial communication skills: effective communication, using positive action language, and avoiding trigger phrases that can elicit negative reactions from the other person's attachment style. Effective communication is the key to unlocking understanding. It encompasses 3 core elements: reflection, validation, and empathy. Reflection involves paraphrasing what your partner shares in your own words, helping them feel heard and understood. Validation is expressing acknowledgement of your partner's feelings, letting them know that you understand and respect what they are going through. Finally, empathy is the ability to connect with your partner's emotions on a deeper level, helping them feel supported and cared for in the relationship. Understanding your partner's attachment style will help you apply these skills more subtly and effectively as you become aware of how they perceive the world and the values they cherish. Positive action language is a powerful tool for expressing your feelings and needs clearly and directly without causing unnecessary conflict. Instead of making general criticisms, be honest about your feelings and specific about what you desire. For example, instead of saying, "You always ignore me," you could express, "I feel unappreciated and really need a gesture of love from you, like you giving me flowers on special occasions so I can feel your care." This communication style not only helps your partner understand your needs, but also allows them to know how to improve the relationship. While being upfront about what you need might feel uncomfortable for some, it's a vital part of building genuine connection. Vague statements may create a temporary sense of safety, but they often mask true emotions and increase the distance between two people. Conversely, sincerity and avoiding trigger phrases can build a foundation of trust, especially when you understand the sensitivities related to your partner's attachment style. This minimizes conflict, strengthens connection, and opens opportunities for both to grow, fostering a healthy and lasting love. Number 5. Communicating effectively. To resolve conflicts in the anxious-avoidant trap, mastering communication techniques tailored to each attachment style is crucial. I've compiled and would like to share some trigger phrases and communication tips to help you build a healthier relationship. For those with an anxious attachment style, open hearts, they often feel hurt and insecure when they hear phrases like, "I value our relationship, but I'm not sure about the future." "I have feelings for you, but I'm not ready for a serious relationship. I need more time to think about what I really want. I'm sorry you feel that way. I don't know why you're sad. It's not a big deal. I need some time alone to think, but I don't know how long or when I can come back. I don't know why I feel this way. Maybe we're just not compatible." Or even being met with silence. When communicating with open hearts, remember they seek reassurance rather than solutions or advice. Pay attention to the emotions behind their words and apply these tips. Offer collaborative solutions. "We'll get through this together." Empathize with their emotions. "I understand how frustrating it is when things don't go as planned." Show through actions. Actions speak louder than words. Show your care by helping with chores, cooking together, or simply listening to them. Maintain a gentle tone of voice. This helps them feel you're not afraid of their emotions. Validate their feelings. "I understand this is important to you." Give them space to express their emotions. Sometimes just being there and listening is enough. For those with an avoidant attachment style, Rolling Stones, they need personal space to feel comfortable in a relationship, but fear you won't understand this. Avoid these phrases to prevent them from feeling pressured. "I feel like you're imposing your thoughts on me. I need space to think about this on my own. I appreciate your opinion, but I want to make my own decision. If you really loved me, you wouldn't say, need, or do that." But there's no question the passenger sits calmly, driving through town. "Nothing's wrong. I'm fine. If I have to ask, it doesn't mean anything. Keeping anything private means you're lying or deceiving me. If you still don't understand by now, you don't know me at all." Instead, try these approaches. "I know maintaining a relationship can be difficult for you, and I understand it's not because of me. Do what you need to do. I'll be here. If you could let me know when you need some alone time, it would help me feel more at ease." Always remember that balancing both partners' needs and creating a safe communication space where both feel understood and respected is key to diffusing the anxious-avoidant trap and cultivating lasting love. The anxious-avoidant trap is not just a paradox of love, but also a mirror reflecting the wounds within each of us. To escape this cycle, it's crucial for both sides to realize that love is not a power game or an emotional tug-of-war. It is a journey of learning to accept, understand, and accompany each other, where each person is willing to face their deepest fears. Healing an unhealthy relationship is not easy, but with commitment, patience, and courage, anyone can rebuild deep, genuine connections. Remember, love is not about perfection, but about sincere efforts to recognize and meet each other's needs. When you learn to communicate effectively, express your emotions sincerely, and avoid triggering your partner's wounds, you not only save a relationship but also heal your inner wounds. If you feel this relationship can be salvaged, give it a chance by learning and changing together. But if you realize that the relationship only brings pain and there is no chance for both of you to grow, have the courage to let go. Sometimes walking away from an unhealthy relationship is not the end but the beginning of a journey to love yourself more. True love begins with inner harmony, and only when you value yourself can you attract a meaningful love. Choosing love over fear, that is the key to overcoming this trap.